Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Elise. I am checking in with you this week as to what I sold on eBay, Vinted, and Depop. I go to thrift stores and find primarily clothing at a reasonable price, usually $2 or less at the Goodwill bins is my favorite place. But often thrift stores will do bag sales, and I usually very rarely spend more than $5 on anything. And this week I put to test about YouTube maybe helping me increase my sales, because when I started this journey about a year ago, it'll be a year January, I started off very slowly, building some inventory, and I still only have 300 to 500 items listed on the various platforms. Actually more on Depop than I have on eBay. I don't cross list. I do it all manually myself. I have had one oops where two things sold within a very short period and I didn't make the change. But right now I'm not at a point. I'm just keeping up with everything myself. But anyway, I started back in January of this year and accumulating. I had sold things on eBay before, but not on Depop and other platforms like that. eBay, just stuff from home. I did get into a kick one time of selling some books, but again, it's just been dabbling. It's not been anything in depth, but now I'm putting a more concerted effort, and it was starting to build. And then I had some life changes. I was moving, I got really busy, and I ended up canceling my YouTube channel. And during that time, even though I was still keeping up with my listings and still thrifting and going to the thrift stores and listing, I tried to list 5 a day, and I've been fairly consistent with that. Sometimes I miss a day and I make up for it the next day or two, but I've been trying to stay pretty consistent with that. So I couldn't really understand why the change, and I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm not doing a YouTube channel anymore, even though I hardly felt like anybody was watching. I think I ended up with 4 subscribers, but I'm pretty sure they were all people who knew me, friends, because I had put it on Facebook. This one I have not. I want to see what happens if it just grows organically and not get the pressure of my 5 family members and a couple of friends. But anyway, so I'm happy to say, because the sales were dropping to like me netting like 30, 40 bucks a week, and I'd grown it to at least getting about 100 or so and selling 20 items maybe a week. It really fell off dramatically during that time, like I said. So since then, this is my 4th video, the sales are increasing. So it's not, I'm not selling as many items, but I've been doing pretty well. I've been, I think, choosing better. I have had each week here recently kind of personal items that I knew were a little more worthy, and I'll go into that. So this will be just a quick list, the highlights of what I sold. I netted this week $125, roughly, give or take some change. And some fun sales that I had on eBay. I sold a vintage travel souvenir of Sicily, but there's another word, Sicilian. Yes, a Sicilian map of Sicily. And it was like a plaque, a ceramic, tiny little thing. And got that shipped off, and we'll make about $6 from it. I did make one boo-boo this week. Somebody ordered a new with tags cardigan sweater, burgundy. And I had two, both with new with tags, but two different brands. And I sent the wrong brand. So she messaged when she received it, and I do need to, she submitted a return. Gotta wait, make sure that gets processed, and then I'll have to send her the correct one. So that was my bad, my boo-boo there. So I'm finding that what sold this week, maybe because people are now thinking less about clothes and more about Christmas items, I did not sell as many clothing. I sold more hard goods. So another thing I sold was a brass, everybody's talking about brass lately, etched brass scallop tray. It was about 10, 12 inches in diameter. It was made in Hong Kong, and it had etchings of little birds and design on it. Sold it for $15 and made $11.48 from that. Another thing, this is kind of funny. I had listed it more for Halloween, but didn't really think about the fact that at Christmas, people might be dressing up and needing this. It's an adult reindeer or deer rubber mask. It sold for $8, and I'm making $5.71 from that. So my own personal item that I sold, it had been sitting in a drawer for a long time. I hadn't used it in years, and I did not test it. I assume it still worked, but I didn't charge it up or test it and get any kind of little whatever you would need, the little thing that you stick in. But it was to explain, a Sony hand cam, a DDR CX220 HD32 X zoom, XL zoom, something like that. I can't read my own handwriting. 8.9 megapixels. I listed it for 85. I was looking at the comps, and most of them were more in the low hundreds, but I underpriced it. Not sure. It sold within a day or two, and I will make $71.25 from that. So that was good. Torrid, which is a popular brand, usually bigger sizes. This was just a size 1, which is ultimately just a large, extra large. And it was a black button down shirt with some silver button features. Sold it for $11. And I was happy to see it was a repeat buyer. So if that repeat buyer is watching, thank you. And I made $8.02 from that. Then on to Depop, I sold a green and yellow Green Bay Packers zip-up sweater, and they anxiously wanted it. I shipped it that day because they were gonna wear it this weekend, in fact. Maybe they're going to a game. And I will profit $7.10 from that. I also sold some Galaxy print Vans. They were a size 7.5. They were considered unisex, and they were low tops. And I got those at Salvation Army for just $2. And I had them priced initially at like $20, but took an offer. They'd been on there for a long while, took an offer at $10, I believe it must have been, and I'm profiting $6.74. 10, 8, something like that. Depop does not, I do boost my Depop listings, and so that may have been a little bit more than that, minus the $2 for the shoes. Any case, and then Vinted, I don't see many resellers talking about Vinted, but Vinted has been pretty consistent for me, that I sell at least one thing a week. Again, I'm still lowballing. I don't get big numbers, big prices, but For instance, versus Mercari, where that's been dead for weeks and weeks, Vinted usually sends me a sale. And this week is a pair of J. Crew women's skinny toothpick jeans, size 31. These were ones that I had had a while. I will profit $6.40 from those. So again, my week total netted was $125, and I'm happy with that because now I'm seeing growth in the right direction. So thank you if you tuned in. I did not post pictures. I don't think I will. You kind of get the drift of what I was explaining. But certainly leave in the comments if you would like more information about any of the products that I sold, any of the clothing and that sort of thing. But I think it was pretty straightforward what I sold this week. And yeah, so please subscribe and follow me along. I will post again this Sunday. I'm a little behind. Of course, with Thanksgiving and other things going on, the days have gotten away from me. So this is Tuesday. I'm posting it Tuesday, and these were the sales from last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago to this Sunday. So whatever that is, the 22nd through the 29th, I believe. So that's what that covered. But I'll try to come back again this coming Sunday with a new video to let you know what has been selling this week. And I've been making some sales, so stay tuned. Thank you.